In the bleak mid-season when times are tough, we're still talking football, banter and all that stuff. Welcome to the Burnie Podcast.
So in tonight's episode we're going to celebrate International Women's Day at the club, and we're going to talk about this weekend's defeat. A night of celebration, and we've also got the captain of the seniors in the hot seat tonight, James Mildren.
But first, things aren't looking so rosy for the Burnie with a 4-0 defeat to Lochore Welfare at the weekend. Missed chances, team effort, or just not our day? We'll find out the answers to that in our interview coming soon. We're still firmly in the promotion hunt, but how many games remaining, James?
8 games to go.
8 games,
Yep.
So lots to play for then still.
Plenty to play for.
Good stuff. You were also the man of the match on Sunday, I believe.
Aye, my first man of the match of the season, but I would rather have the 3 points.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Aye. No, we had a bad day at the office, and let ourselves down maybe a wee bit, you could say. Beansy coming out with a couple of great saves as well, so that's obviously a positive you can take to the game, but they obviously just turn round and just need to keep going. 8 more games, that's what, 24 points you've got to play. We say about Brian Meakin's comment.
Yeah.
I'll read that one out.
Yeah.
Right. We had a very bad day at the office. I think we let ourselves down. We let each individuals down in the team. Blair had a few great saves again. The dressing room afterwards was not the place to be, but I think we all need to look at ourselves before pointing fingers. And to many people are pointing fingers. Many people are different, and I mean myself, with some silly shouts at the sideline. And I have to say, have a look where we were last season at this time. I know we can go on and get promoted. The players we have must believe in this, and I know they have worked together and have to believe in each other. Come on, Blackburn, Burnie boys. Yes. I'm sorry, I can't read.
That's all right. Cheers, Brian, for the sentiment was there. But yeah, as always, we must move on. David Gallagher also writes, outstanding captain who tried to keep the team together today, led by example. Hopefully everybody turns up with his attitude next week.
That's Beansy's dad, thanks for that.
Is it? So, he's been great all season, so that's a nice bit of feedback there. That's good stuff. So did your 2009s fare any better then?
Yeah, we beat East Calder 8-0 in the end. We were 3-0 up in 5 minutes, so
wow.
It was just quite a game we just kind of cruised. Referee was horrendous, but
wasn't it big Chris Linus, was it?
Don't know. Even just things like their striker just hit the side net, and goalkeeper didn't even dive for it because it was that bad of a shot, and the referee goes corner, and we're all standing like that.
What?
So in the last 20 we weren't so great, but apart from that,
just a foot off the gas kind of thing.
Just foot off the gas, probably. What about your 2011s?
Yeah, we certainly had a better performance, but we did lose to Armadale 4-1. I would have said it would have been probably a 2-1 game. It was just stupid mistakes again, just not communicating at the back. But we are, I don't know if I actually said, we got promotion, so we're in the top half with the league split. The 2011's league split, so we're in the top half with the other Blackburn team. So
yeah, another derby.
We're going to have at least another derby before the end of the season, which is good. I think we are looking forward to. We've got a cup game, regional cup against Broxburn, so that's going to be a tough one. So we're looking forward to that.
Yep. So more recently at the Burnie, it was great to see 2 of our own recognised at Scotland office in celebration of International Women's Day. So Sonia Hubbard, our girls player development officer, and Sophie Hunter, our soccer school and girls under 10s coach, who's soon to be off to Ottawa to continue our footballing journey, represented the club brilliantly at a reception hosted by Kirsty McNeil MP. It's fantastic to see the impact of the women at our club being recognised on a wider stage, so it's obviously a proud moment for Blackburn United, and in particular Sonia and Sophie.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Huge thanks to all the girls and women here that helped make Blackburn the club it is today. We wish Sophie all the best on her trip to Ottawa. We hope to hear all about it, and hopefully she can send us in some pics or videos. That'll be
good. Yeah, definitely. So good luck, Sophie. We're also proud to announce an official club celebration night on the 30th of May 2026 at Seafield Community Centre at 6:30. There'll be first team and under 20s Player of the Year presentations, Hall of Fame inductions, along with some very special awards.
Yes, these very special awards such as Volunteer of the Year, Parent of the Year and Player of the Year. So please join us. We'll both be there with a special live edition of the Burnie Podcast. So that's an official exclusive announcement there. Tickets are a very, very reasonable £25 and include food and a night packed full of entertainment as we celebrate community club success. Are you looking forward to this, Jared?
Yeah, I think it'll be a great night out. It's not often we get things like that, so it'll be a good time to get together as a club, because there'll be people from different sorts of age groups there, or representatives of different age groups and parts of the club, you know, from podcast to 20s, first team, whatever it might be. So that'll be quite good, I reckon. Yeah.
No, I'm really looking forward to it. I think let us know if you want us to go. Should we be going live on Facebook or your YouTube page?
Ooh, YouTube,
you reckon?
Probably YouTube, eh?
Yeah. Maybe stick in the comments below what you think your preferences would be, and we can try and organise that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be good. We'll get loads of wee interviews and stuff like that. Like people half drunk, half the time.
As long as it's early in the night, then I'll go for that.
Does that mean the podcast hosts can't have a drink?
No, I'm sure we're allowed to embellish ourselves, just maybe not too many. So
who just goes for one?
Me.
Then you're boring.
Well, yeah, that has been said, but I'm also very, very safe.
Fair.
So, but yeah, before the night of celebration, it is Easter, and I hear you've got a football camp planned, Jared.
Aye, so we've got Easter football camp running at the new 3G pitch in Harthill from the 6th to the 10th of April. So if you're looking for something to do during Easter, then I think there's no better place to be than come to us for your football coaching. It's only £70 for the week, so that's it's less than £15 a day. It's about £13 or £14 a day. So
what's the hours on that?
9 till 3 with an early drop off. So if you just want to kick your kids out the house,
that's literally cheaper than childcare. When you think about it like that, that is actually cheaper than childcare.
It's the cheapest childcare you'll ever get, and you get good coaching. You get coaching from me, best coach in Scotland. You'll get Tommy, who used to play.
Sorry,
are you laughing at that?
No, it's on my throat there.
It's great time, innit? You get Tommy, who's at Sunderland, Partick Thistle, Falkirk, and now at Clyde, and then obviously you'll have Kieran as well, who played 5 years in the States and was at Raith Rovers and Dunfermline Pro Youth. So you're not just getting cheap childcare, you're getting
actual professional
coaching.
Yeah.
So
that does sound actually like a bargain. Have you got a limit on them? Because I take it you've bought out the whole pitch.
Yeah. So I'd say 12 kids to one coach. So if you go by if you do it in quarters or something, you can maybe get 50 kids, 60 kids there. So I've got a target in mind, but we can take up to as many more than what I've got targeted. So
excellent,
we'll see what happens.
No, that's good. Yeah. So get in touch with Jared. We'll have a wee advert for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. So before we start chatting to our captain, we have got a word from our sponsors. Welcome to the podcast, James. It's great to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. So for anyone who doesn't know you, so who's James Mildren at Blackburn and who is he away from the club as well?
Blackburn, I'm the old guy that plays at the back. I'm in my 11th season, 3rd season as captain. Away from home, I'm a husband and a dad.
Brilliant, mate.
What does being a captain of the men's first team mean to you personally?
It's really proud. I've been, since I got given the captaincy, it's been just a really proud thing for me to be kind of the pinnacle of the community club, and like to kind of have everyone looking up to you and stuff like that. It's really a good feeling, and it's something to be proud of. No,
definitely. So when you think about your time at Blackburn, what's the first sort of moment that pops into your head?
First moment that pops in my head is probably when we went to Linlithgow Rose on a Tuesday night and beat them 4-2 after being 2-0 down at half time. And if it wasn't for that, we'd have been relegated that season. It was a kind of game where everything just kind of came together for us. When we went 2-0 down, we were kind of thinking of the goal difference to keep the score down, and then we went out and scored 4 goals. It's just a night that I'll always stay with me and everyone that played that night.
Fantastic.
So going right back to the start, what was kind of your first ever football memory?
Probably my dad taking me to Tynecastle. When I got my first season ticket when I was like 5, and I've had one pretty much ever since. Playing wise, I remember when Faltis, I'm a Faltis boy born and bred, when the first boys club in Faltis was being brought up, I was the 90th person to sign up. There was a big day in the community centre for everyone at all the age groups to come and sign up. Played my first game for them, but they kind of mucked up in the booking, so we ended up playing the Bathgate Rose team, who were a year above our age group.
Shit.
And what I remember for the game is the ref blowing his whistle to start the game. Our coach brought us in and said, right, who wants to play up front? And everyone put their hand up, and I kind of thought, I'll just play at the back, and we'll beat 17-1. And so I didn't go back for a year after that. And then James Warrington, who was my first football coach, was kind of in contact with my dad and was saying that I should come back and give it another go. And I did, and since I was 10 I've just been kind of playing ever since. And
obviously you had that sort of first stint at the back there. Was that a position that you kept after, or did you try something else before you came back?
No,
or did you just get old and just
no,
go to centre half?
I've never had the ability to play anywhere else, to be honest with you. I've been a defender pretty much all my days. Maybe just played as a defensive midfielder a wee bit growing up, but I pretty much just a defender. I've just kind of kicked people since I was 10.
Aye, fair enough.
So how would you describe your kind of style of football then? Is it your street football or park football? What did you kind of learn growing up?
I just learned how to love the game really, in different ways. I've never been the most technical or the best player out my group of pals or in a team or anything like that, but I've probably been the most determined, and that's probably got me where I am today. Like I say, I've never been the person doing step-overs and keep uppies over everyone, but I'm there for the start to the end, and I kind of gain respect that way.
And sort of growing up as well, so you obviously said you had that wee experience at Falthouse, but you know, sort of like recreationally, did you just, you know, grow up kicking the football about in the streets, or was like a wee 3G or like a mugger sort of nearby?
You're making me feel quite old, because it was the days before 3G. It was like 2G. It was the old sandy Ashworth turf, and it was just going to my pal's street and just playing football there. Just literally had a garage for the goals and
like playing games like Kirby and that.
Just doing that every night, and then on a Tuesday and a Thursday I'd be at the park at Faltis or Whitburn Academy, and we trained at playing with Faltis, waiting for the weekend to play again.
And it's always been football, you know, any other interests in any sports? Or
my dad's English, which is my excuse. I played cricket up until, I played it all the way up until I was like 21, 22 or something. I stopped playing that. Faltis have got a cricket team that were pretty successful.
Did not know that.
They don't anymore. They folded maybe 6-7 years ago, but up until then it was something that people with Faltis done. And when my dad being English, he was a cricketer growing up and stuff like that, so he kind of passed that down to me. So my younger days were pretty much every day of the week I'd be either playing football or cricket at some sort of like with Faltis or different regional levels at cricket as well. So my weekdays were pretty full.
Definitely. Obviously you spoke a wee bit about being a Hearts fan, so like sort of growing up, who were your sort of like heroes? You know, probably talking defenders, I'd imagine.
Stephen Presley was my hero until he signed with Celtic and kissed the badge. I was nearly crying that day when he done that. But Stephen Presley was my hero, and probably, sad to say, but probably people like Robbie Nielsen and stuff like that. Growing up as a Hearts fan, didn't have many people to look up to, and I looked at the defenders obviously, and most of the time we were maybe conceding more goals than we were keeping it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So who was your kind of best coach you had early on that kind of stepped you up?
My football background's pretty basic. I've only played with maybe like 4 or 5 teams my whole life.
Right.
So I grew up, I'm a 1993 age group, but I played in the 92s up until like under 10s to under 14s, and I had James Warrington and Rab McKee as my 2 coaches there. They were really good. We had a really successful team there. Their first competitive season under 13s, we won the quadruple. We won County Cup, Regional Cup, undefeated in the league, and then another cup. Got to the semi-finals of the Scottish Cup and stuff like that. Then I went down to my own age group, and there was a kind of merger between Faltis and Murison at that age, and our coach Malky wasn't really a football coach, he just kind of was a motivator, I suppose. So I think growing up I didn't have too much coaching up until I came to Blackburn really. Right. I came to Blackburn under 19s, and that's when Mark Campbell and Brian Smiley were my first coaches at Blackburn, and it probably opened my eyes up to actual coaching and improving as a player. Before it was kind of just natural and you were just kind of left to it. I remember Malky, when we were under 16s, we used to do an hour of training and it was a 5-a-sides at Craigswood Sports Centre, and he just said, if you're no fit then now you'll never be fit. So you think we probably just didn't get as much as we could have because we weren't really taught anything. And then I came to Blackburn and it was obviously top-notch coaching for Mark and Brian, and they definitely had a massive help in developing me as a player, definitely.
And like just touching on that as well, like did it take you a while to sort of adjust to sort of playing football, in Blackburn sort of way? Because obviously you're saying at Falthouse it was probably like a lot of fitness and things like that, and into Blackburn it's guys like Brian Smiley who's now holds his B licence and has coached for many years. So I think it was quite a challenge jumping into that.
I think I was really open to learning. I think I'd had years of not really being coached, just kind of the team talks would just be you're just better than our team, just go beat them kind of thing, not really having the tactical side of it. So I was really open to coming to Blackburn and just really learning about the game. Like I'm football obsessed. Like if I'm not playing, I'm watching football. That's what I'd done growing up. So I was really looking forward to kind of getting more insight into the game, and that's definitely what Brian especially he's hard but fair, and Mark's the exact same, to be fair. And they really taught me a lot about the game, and that's what I was looking for when I came to Blackburn.
So did you think that was your kind of first big step up, really?
To be fair, growing up, there was 3 teams that were kind of the top teams. There was Faltis, where I was playing, Blackburn, where Danny Campbell was playing, and Blackridge, where Fraser Spence was playing, and we all played together now in the first team. So the actual level of football was pretty similar, but in terms of developing you as an individual and as a player, it was completely different to what I was used to.
Aye. And so did you ever get like cut from a team or overlooked?
I went to Dundee United for a few months, like under 14s, and I wasn't cut as such, but I just kind of stopped going. I went there for like a couple of months, and I really just didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the kind of cliquiness. There was a real kind of cliquiness there, and I really kind of. I was playing, so my Faltis team had played against Dundee United and we drew with them, and that's how it kind of came about. And I felt like I was playing at a kind of similar standard at the time to that, but I was playing with my pals who would back me on a Saturday, and then going and playing with Dundee United, where it felt like somebody would give you a bad pass to make them look better than you, and I never really didn't like the environment for that. So I kind of left that after a couple of months of kind of training. It was a kind of dual thing in between Faltis and Dundee United at the time.
Did you ever consider going like the full pro?
Well, I was never good enough. That's probably the main thing. But that Dundee United thing's probably the closest I've got. But it was just in terms of the environment. It just wasn't for me. It really wasn't for me. And going back and playing with my pals and we won a lot of trophies, won a lot of cups and stuff like that. That was. I didn't feel like I was missing it.
And did you learn anything at Dundee United that you've now took back to Blackburn? Then that's maybe stuck with you. I don't know if I'd say I've learned anything. It was a long time ago. But it's just in terms of like standards and just thinking of what the better players at that level were doing, and kind of then taking it back at my boys' club at the time, and then just kind of carrying that on.
Aye. I think you probably, like you say, you didn't feel part of the team. You wanted to enjoy your football when.
It's a massive part, even now, as being part. Like at Blackburn, that's a massive part of what we try and put together, is making everyone feel involved in like the kind of team culture and making sure that everyone's enjoying it. It's kind of at the forefront of
that's it. If you're not going to run through brick walls for each other, then there's no point. So I mean, it's just disjointed at that point, definitely. Have you? So obviously, just touching on that as well. So obviously that's a big thing that Andy and Scott talk about, and anyone that comes on the podcast, like we've had other boys on it as well, like Scott and like Martin and that, saying that that's sort of the culture. But was there ever a point in Blackburn where it maybe did feel a wee bit disjointed?
Honestly, I don't think so. Like I say, this is my 11th season here, and the thing that's kind of always been a constant is the kind of changing of atmosphere and everyone kind of feeling together. Obviously, people come and go, like every week, like you can see. But no, in terms of people being together and the actual kind of culture about the place, and bad eggs don't really last at Blackburn. Like if you've got an ego and stuff like that, you don't last long at Blackburn. You're an outlier rather than an influencer is the kind of way I'd say it.
Aye. Was there a period kind of in any that the kind of the 11 seasons that you've been there where it kind of stopped become fun and you've not enjoyed it as much, or is that why you've lasted 11 seasons? Is because it's always been fun for you?
Aye, probably. Aye, I mean, there's no been a kind of there's no been a lot of times where I've been out the team and not enjoying it, or even the times when we were kind of no doing so well and stuff in the Premier League and that, maybe there wasn't a time where I ever thought about giving up or kind of. I've never had that thought about kind of chucking it or looking at different clubs like that. I've never felt the need to do that. Aye, Blackburn's it's always been a great place to be. I signed in the summer of 2015, and ever since then, it's been just been Blackburn for me.
Oh, good to hear. Brilliant. And have you had any setbacks? You know, like it could be injuries. You know, probably injuries is the biggest one. Never had sort of setbacks like that.
I've been quite lucky in terms of injuries. I think the longest I've been out for is probably about a month or something like that with a hamstring strain. But apart from that, I've kept myself. I've kept myself pretty fit or available anyway. I mean, my knees are sore every single week when I play the now, but I'm available to play. That's probably it's got to be something really debilitating for me not to play.
Yeah, definitely. And how's that sort of changed your mentality? Because obviously there's maybe a lot of guys who have been injured and need to come back stronger and mentally tougher, but because you've not had that, how do you sort of keep yourself up to speed with all these people who do need to climb the mountains?
Aye, it's a good point. It's something I've thought about quite recently actually, is it's until you've experienced something, it's really hard to kind of sympathise with them and kind of put yourself in their shoes, and so that's something I've been thinking about lately, is how can I mimic their situation, if I've not been in these situations. Like we have different situations all the time with different players and different things going on, and obviously I'm a bit older, but I've not been through every different scenario, so just trying to kind of mimic that, it can be quite difficult. But the thing in those situations is, if you've not been in that situation, is just to listen. You're not going to know all the answers, but sometimes just listening to somebody and kind of seeing where their head's at can give you a different perspective on things, and it can make them feel listened to as well.
No, definitely. That's a great answer.
If you could go back and coach your younger self for 10 minutes, what would you say?
Stop slide tackling on that sandy arse with him.
Is that not something that your mum would say to you, is ruining all your plays and that?
It was every week. There was actually a time, I remember we played a friendly there at Whitburn Academy in the old sandy arse with Tuff, and I wasn't allowed to play because they said, you'll just absolutely ruin your knees, everything again. But probably just to keep trusting yourself, and you're maybe better than you think you are.
Great bit of advice there.
Yeah.
And so like when you first walked into Blackburn, so obviously I'd imagine guys like Danny have been there just as long as you have. But who was the Jazzers and the Dannies before you that helped you sort of get into Blackburn and sort of become part of the dressing room culture and things like that?
So probably my first season, Marty Laurie was probably the biggest influence I had there. Me and him struck up a great partnership for the first training session really.
Yeah.
He really took me under his wing. He was an old 28-year-old or something he'd been at the time, and I was just a young 21-year-old. But we really struck it off. I was kind of lucky, and I came for an amateur team, but two of my teammates had came, and one of them, JP Greb, had been made captain as well. So it was kind of easy for me because I'd played with JP for 2 years, and he was the kind of main man there. So there wasn't really any difference. I was travelling with him and that as well. I know him really well, so that was all kind of easy. Ross Williamson was another guy who was there for years, absolute legend of a guy, great player. Trying to think, I'd played against him with Danny for all my days basically. I'd been kicking him since I was 10-year-old, so I've grown up with Danny as well. That's probably the main ones.
And how did you sort of adopt that role of becoming that person? Obviously getting given the captaincy is a big massive part of it, but that's only been there for 3 years, so going back 3 years you'd have been at Blackburn 8 years, so how did you sort of become a sort of leader in there, somebody who'd maybe take younger players under their wing a wee bit, make everyone feel welcome?
It's maybe something that I'd kind of, so in the kind of boys clubs and even my amateur teams stuff like that, I'd been captain in the past when at Blackburn I had 2 years at 19s and we went to 21s. Brian gave me the captaincy that year as well, so it's something I was kind of used to. When I came to Blackburn, I kind of had a few kind of goals in my head. Was by the end of the first year to be kind of established in the first team, second year be a kind of main player, then third year look to kind of push on to some sort of kind of leadership role. And then I think I'd been here, it was a season before COVID, so that would have been 5 years or something. I mean, when I was negotiating with Mark and Jamie just about new contracts and stuff like that, and I'd said I want to be vice captain, I want to take on more responsibility. And they were kind of said that. I think I don't think they were expecting somebody to kind of come and
actually
put
that approach them.
Aye, but and then kind of for there, I've been kind of in amongst. Like I've never been club captain, but I've kind of just led myself like I was. I've been captain on plenty of occasions when Mikey Brown or Marcus or whoever wasn't available, and then it was kind of just a kind of natural progression. To then take the captaincy.
And how far does that go now? So obviously, like, when people think of a captain, it's just like somebody who screams and that on the park, but behind the scenes, like, how far does that actually go? Like speaking to people, maybe having difficult conversations, just things that you wouldn't think about.
I mean, a lot of the time you're the person go to and WhatsApp on the Saturday night or the Monday night or the Thursday night of training. If they don't think training is good, I'm the one that they'll come to and moan to. On a Saturday, if somebody's not playing, I can be the person to moan to, or I can message them. I'll maybe notice that and message them to kind of put something out there to see if they'll start talking and stuff like that. I'm kind of used to it now. But what I kind of need to do is take away, is kind of filter through the just moans to something that I then need to
action.
Action and either deal with myself. Like I really try and keep things kind of internal and not try and burden Andy with too much and sort everything within the changing room before having to go anywhere else.
Aye, definitely. When did you actually find out like you were going to be captain, and you like buzzing like?
Aye, it was the week of the season starting. So I'd been captain in pre-season. It was kind of we all kind of knew that it was going to happen. Like really, but it hadn't been like officially said. And it was actually me, Daryl Nico and Div Wilson. They were given vice captaincies, and I was given the captaincy in the changing room. At the same time, Jamie McCormick was a manager at the time. He just kind of pulled the three years and said, "That's what we want to do." It really does. It gives you that kind of shivers in the back of your neck and stuff like that. Like it's something that you've looked for years, and to get it is, it was a real good night, and it's something that I'm just proud of every time that I put the armband on it.
Yeah, and how do you deal with the pressure of being captain? So obviously, like, you know, when you're the guy in the park with the biggest voice and the one that everyone looks towards, and you need to hold yourself to sort of like 10 out of 10 performances each week, can you make mistakes? How do you sort of deal with those bits of pressure that come with that?
There's also the kind of added time now with refs where like they only want the captain to speak to you as well. So I think there's actually, it's a lot more apparent who the captain is now, but than maybe in previous years, because everyone was shouting at the ref, whereas now captains, like on Saturday, literally the Lockwood player was talking to the ref and he says, "Go ask your captain to ask me that question." You get some refs that can talk to him, and you get some refs who
will do that,
which is obviously a bit mental. But I think actually it probably enhances your performance a bit, because you are thinking that I especially can't make a mistake, because you're the one with the armband, you're the one that people are looking to. It's probably raised my game a bit, because you've got that extra bit knowing, especially playing at the back. You make a mistake, it's a goal most of the time.
Yeah. So
you've kind of got that. It's probably how I play anyway. Is kind of really don't want to make a mistake because it's probably going to be a goal. But I know that I can't have a go at the boys if I'm then making all the mistakes at the back as well.
And what happens if you do then make a mistake? 'Cause, you know, you go into the changing room, there's things that need to be said, like that's not good enough, you need to do better. But if you're somebody who's made a mistake, how do you then deal with that afterwards?
First of all, hold your hand up yourself. You can still say, like, there'll be one mistake. Say you made the one mistake that's cost the game or whatever in the 90 minutes. You've made the one mistake, but there's another 90 minutes to the game where things have went wrong, and speaking about them is still valid. But if you hold yourself in to say, look, my fault in the goal, but X, Y and Z could have also been better, then it's still valid. But you also you kind of get the respect of the people if you're also holding yourself accountable to say, I've messed up here, but you could have pulled me out of the game.
Yeah. So how much do you think the captaincy is actually people management versus actual football tactics?
Probably 90% people management.
Yeah.
It's just understanding the people you can shout at, the people who you can't shout. People you just need to encourage constantly. No matter like if they're playing well or no, sometimes you just need to.
You need to keep that.
And that it's something I've just learned over the years as well. Is that like just I can kind of judge that person quite well in terms of I know who I need to. It's probably people that you're closer to personally that you can have a go at more, because you've got that relationship. You know that it's not personal. Whereas kind of a younger player coming up or somebody who's just in the team, probably give them a wee bit more leeway because you're trying to make them feel comfortable and try to bed them in at the same time.
Yeah. And does it blow up at times?
It can do, aye.
Like even the weekend, for example.
Aye. It's probably one of the. So I had to go to the boys when we first came in, and then Andy went.
Tonto?
Aye, Tonto is probably the word. Aye, and it was kind of strange because I had to go before he came in, but then I had to be the one after that to kind of pick us up after. So I'd first of all kind of came in and had to go at everyone, but then Andy went Tonto, and then I had to kind of say, like, guys, we're still in a good position. We're still 8 games to go, and then kind of listen to what the boys are saying and.
Good cop, bad cop sort of thing.
Aye. Well, I thought I was going to be a bad cop, but then I had to be both of it.
I guess that's part of being a captain. I guess you've got to put very, very different masks on at times.
You can't do that every game as well. Like, you can't do it after every defeat. You can't come in shouting and balling at every defeat, because it then just becomes a pattern.
It doesn't make an effect. Yeah.
I think that's something I'm very conscious of, is that I don't want to just be the voice of every game and this happened, that happened, because you're not always going to get it right as well. There'll be times where I could say something that can be wrong, but if I'm the one after a game calling boys out or saying whatever, I want it to mean something, and that's why Saturday especially something had to be said after the game.
Yeah, definitely. We'll dive into you a wee bit then. Kind of what happens away from the football. So obviously it said husband, dad. What are you doing for work?
I've literally started a new job last week at Claris Networks, which is like a telecommunication company. So I started there last week. I'd previously been at Prestige Leisure, who are like a garment wholesaler. I was a stock and purchasing manager there for about 7.5 years. Just got a bit of a change in my personal circumstances. Just got my dad's he's got MND, so he's quite ill, and my mother-in-law, she's got brain cancer as well. So I've got a couple of things in my personal life that I've kind of meant I've taken a wee step back from management and just kind of look to be present at work, but mostly at home as well. So
aye, because it's obviously the captaincy and obviously being a manager, that does bleed into your personal life as well. So you need to get that squared away first. Definitely.
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
And how much do you think being a captain prepared you for fatherhood?
I don't know if anything prepares you for fatherhood.
I tell you to stop doing that.
I could do that sometimes, trust me. But no, I think it's kind of made me a bit. It's put things into perspective, definitely. Like again, even on Saturday, Sophie and Brodie picked me up, and I came out just thinking the world's going to end, and then I see them, and it's kind of think
it's all good.
Aye, it's rubbish we go beat, but aye, life's not that bad, is it? And I think before that, I probably didn't see that. I probably seen football as
the be all and end all.
Yeah. Aye. I don't know if my wife would be happy with me saying that, but aye, her as well.
No, definitely. And when you're sort of, switching between like football to sort of home life, how do you sort of switch off? Because like, see me personally, like, when I'm at home, I'm on my phone, like football. Like, how do you like get away from that? Obviously, saying you're the captain, like you're, maybe having to message boys at night and that, but the missus is in the way and sitting there and they're like, right, come on James, put it away, do you know what I mean?
Aye, that is definitely what we've got to tell most nights. It's a difficult balancing act, and it's probably, especially with the new job and stuff like that as well, it's why I'd kind of done things like that, so I wasn't kind of rushing about all day in my work and then rushing about all day to kind of catch up with everything that's been going on during the day. It's just to kind of take that step back to, one, kind of obviously put everything into your work life, but then enjoy the family life and enjoy everything else that's going on around you, and spending as much time with the people that really matter. And maybe putting the phone down. I still should put the phone down more in a day, but
there's a great feature on your phone called Do Not Disturb. You should try that one, mate.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Safe word, mate.
So what do you find is kind of harder for you to actually motivate somebody who's low on confidence, or kind of managing somebody who's too confident with the ego?
Definitely managing somebody that's too confident. It's not something I can relate to. Probably in all my time at Blackburn, what's kind of pushed me on is that I've always felt like I'm one bad game away from being dropped, and I've never took anything for granted. Like I played nearly 300 games for Blackburn, but I've never said, it doesn't matter how I play this week, I'll be playing next week. I've always kind of kept it there. So we have it sometimes. You get people who are, their confidence is way above their ability, and it's difficult to kind of bring them down to reality sometimes, and kind of I put them in their place. But also at the same time, like we say, like with the culture we've got, we also don't want them to turn into a bad egg at the same time. People that are low in confidence, that's fine. I can deal with that. I can kind of build them up. My kind of style is more to kind of build people up than to have a go at people anyway. But I've had people over the years that come in and think that they should be playing in the Premiership, and they're lucky to be playing. They'll be playing amateur next year most of the time. So.
Definitely. And my question just goes into my head there. Do I jump in? No, I've literally had a belt of a question there as well.
Well, how would you handle any kind of conflict in the squad? Have you had any of that, like two players bickering at each other, or?
I mean, you get that, but a lot of it's heat at the moment though. Like, there's no a lot where it's actual personal
digs or anything like that.
There's no a lot of that. Like I say, like the Chinese always been good in that way, but everyone falls out with each other during the 90 minutes and just after that. But in terms of actual people having conflicts, I've not really had that too much, which is quite lucky to be fair.
How do you? I find this very difficult as well. But being able to, especially after a bad game, be able to switch off like that. It was just that 90 minutes or 80 minutes for us, and then end of the game, that's it. Was we've had a really tough performance. I find it really difficult sometimes to kind of pick myself back up for the rest of the day, and I'm kind of a bit down. Or how do you kind of deal with that?
Like I say, but probably before I had my son, I'd be the exact same. But now I do have a natural distraction that you kind of, as soon as you come away from the football, you're right in the dad mode, and you're watching Peppa Pig or something like that, and life isn't that bad when you're watching Peppa Pig.
That's debatable, mate. I've seen that too many times.
So the same.
I've remembered my question, if I'm allowed to ask it now, definitely. So obviously you've been involved with football many years. What do you think is going to happen once it is time to hang up the boots? Are you going to stay and do a wee bit of coaching at Blackburn, or? To be honest,
I'd love to be a manager, mate. I think coaching, I've not got the coaching bug as such, I wouldn't say, but in terms of being a manager and kind of being at the top, and like you always hear in like the Premiership they talk about like 1% gains and all that. Like I think if you implement things like that into your level of football, I see things a lot of the time where I think we can get so much more out of different people and different scenarios and stuff like that. That really motivates me, but I would just need a good coaching team behind me, I think, because the kind of putting the cones out and stuff like that and putting a session on, I could do it, but it's kind of the people side that definitely.
I don't know what level you think you're going to have other boys putting cones out for you, man. This guy thinks he's got a deal, man.
See if you can get you a job, then.
Aye. Oh, I'm offended. Getting on, big man. Getting on.
So how did you? You've talked about the dressing room, but like, how do you keep trust with the gaffer while still representing the rest of the guys in the dressing room? Honestly.
I think it's knowing,
because it's a kind of balancing act, really.
It's definitely
he's
a
a
balance.
grass.
Well, it's finding that balance between being a grass and keeping people's trust. Like there's definitely things that boys say to me that I won't say to Andy. Like that's sorry, Andy.
You're going to dig your hole. You're digging yourself a hole here.
But it's kind of what I was talking about earlier, where like I need to kind of filter out between this is just a moan or this is just a gripe,
right,
in terms of or I actually need to speak to Andy about this, or Andy will come to me sometimes and just ask about kind of how's this boy, or notice he's no quite right, you noticed in it, and if there's that there, like obviously I'll know kind of breach confidentiality when I'm speaking. If you're talking to me about something personal, or if they're talking about something that I don't think should be passed on, I'll not go through the details of it. I'll kind of say maybe struggling a wee bit, or maybe have a word with him, and like whether Andy takes it on or no, it's up to him. It's just I'm the kind of
messenger.
The messenger. I like no every conversation will then lead to Andy speaking to a boy or something happening, but it's just the kind of, either I'll pick up on something, or Andy or Scotty or something will say to me like, what's happening with him, or what about his attitude tonight, or something like that, and I can either defend them or can kind of agree with it. So there's just that balancing act, and it's knowing what to say, and probably more importantly what not to say in terms of
definitely
what's going on sometimes.
Definitely. And what's maybe one weakness within your game that you've had to improve, going for 19s, seniors, maybe going up the leagues, becoming captain? What are things that you've been like, I need to make that better? It can be mentally or it can be technically.
Probably just on the ball. I think when we moved up to the Premier League, it was definitely just on the ball. Like, things were just so much quicker, and knowing where your pass was, and knowing, maybe I'd be just clearing it up the park, to be fair, but just you were closed down a lot quicker, and then when you lost the ball, we weren't seeing it for 5-10 minutes. Like, it was much more important to do the right thing with the ball, whereas you'd maybe get away with it in the kind of lower leagues. That's the biggest thing I definitely noticed when we were playing the likes of Lithgow, Bowness, Broxburn and stuff like that, like when they were up the top, is that they pressed you, like, again, I'm a defender, like, they pressed you really intently there, and if you lost it there, they're not making mistakes, they're scoring. So it's decision making on the ball was probably the biggest thing.
But what I'll do is I'll pass you my number and do some 1-to-1s.
Wait, what Kieran Swanson did?
Shout out Swanee.
Talk us through your match day routine for kind of waking up to kick off. Do you eat anything particular for breakfast? Has your wife got everything nicely ironed for you for the night before?
Right. I'm probably up at about 6:30 or something with Brody. Then getting him sorted, like, it's just a normal morning with him. Like, Saturday ones are great, so obviously I've got that time with him. Most of the time I do let Sophie have a long lie on a Saturday morning. I'll go out to Brody, do whatever he's wanting to do. Then about, if it's a home game, maybe like 10:30, I'll just make some like scrambled egg and beans and toast, pretty standard kind of stuff. Make them some food at the same time, and then that's me. It's pretty bog standard.
Just bits of protein and carbs and all that. Just the usual.
Just whatever I think will work, to be.
You didn't break your tradition, so that's what you're doing. You just need to keep it that way. So, what's your favourite sort of match to play in? And obviously, why? So you're obviously talking about games where you're getting like pressed, quite hard. You know what I mean? It's a difficult game, but the games can pay off if you win, or you've got the ones where it's enjoyable, that's just time on the ball, take boys on, pass it. Do you know what I mean? What are you thinking?
Well, I don't know if it's a kind of thing with me, but whenever we go to like a grass park that's an absolute mud bath, all the boys say that I'll be loving this. So, whenever we're at a 3G,
it's like a carnage, mate. Yeah.
Aye, that's it. Just like tackling people, like I said, for a young age. I like a backs to the wall 1-0 win. Like I like it when we kind of sneak our way to a 1-0 victory. To me, as a centre half, maybe they're the most satisfying for me.
Just the ones you're like, how did we win that?
Aye,
you know what I mean?
When I've headed 50 balls and the other team are raging me. They're the ones that I really like. Just like when we played Armadale, that was actually a 3G, but when we played Armadale, we had their crowd. They were baying for blood with us, and we had everyone on strings. It was we were winding them up at the same time, and you're coming off just that was the buzz. You know what I mean? That's definitely my type of victory.
I can't wait for the return match of that.
It's the only game that's not been scheduled yet. I think it'll probably be end of April, just with the way that the fixtures look like they're working out. But that could be a good one.
Definitely need to get the ultras involved in that.
What, the Waynes? 10-year-old, 11-year-old Waynes?
They're from Blackburn though.
Balaclavas and that? I know.
So what separates good players from consistent players? Because you've obviously seen, in your 11 seasons, you've seen through, what kind of separates the good players for the consistent ones?
Consistent players always turn up. A good player will have a good game, one every 5 or 6, but I would much rather a consistent player that I know what they're going to get. I kind of not a flair player, but like you get good players who light the place up one game or one half. You give them the ball in the second half and you don't know where their touch is going, and it really can just set off the rest of the team. But a consistent player, like when I think of consistent players, I think of like Fraser Spence. Like he might only give you the 45 minutes with his legs in him, but I know what he's got to do for that 45 minutes. I've got full trust in like him, Scotty Richards, Darren Meikle. Like I know what they're going to do. Like that's the type of player that I want to play with. Is that they're not going to do anything. We're not going to lose a ball in an area when I'm thinking, how have we lost that? I know what they're going to do at times. They're the type of players that I like to play.
Well, there's two sides of the coin there. He's only playing 45 minutes, so he's consistently playing 45 minutes.
True, he's still consistent in that.
So, we'll dive into your teammates a wee bit then. So you obviously spoke about playing football with guys like Spenny and like Danny and all that for years. And I'm not going to say what sets them apart, because I know, playing for Rangers and Celtic, but what makes them, consistently good at this level? Why have they survived here where maybe some people fizzle out?
It's an interesting question. It's probably just one, being available. That's something like I pride myself on, is just being available, just turning up. That's half the battle, to be honest. Like it's training twice a week and being available on the Saturday is half the battle. They were probably the better players when we were going up at boys club and stuff like that, and that's kind of what I see is like the kind of top players at those levels.
Like the ones where it's like, they've got Danny Campbell, they've got Fraser Spence.
I used to love playing against Danny when we were younger, right enough, but they were the better players of that age group, and they've kind of brought that in and they've stepped up. The people that have kind of dropped off then are probably people that they had the ability, but like I say, they just wouldn't turn up. That's probably what sets people apart, is like our numbers at training have always been good, but the people that come here and don't last are people that are working late, or that kind of thing. A lot of the time it is just being here.
Yeah. So what's your kind of non-negotiables in training? Intensity, concentration, scanning, or communication?
Probably intensity. Our training's pretty good for that. Well, we've got a good balance between being able to have a laugh and knowing when it's serious. So it's definitely that, and just listening is the main thing. Like we've got a lot of boys where we do a passing drill, and
you go out there like, were you even listening?
We Kyle McClung his brain just can't compute any sort of passing drill. We just need to have him at the back of any passing drill,
so you can watch it, and
because his wee brain just can't keep up with it.
I've seen some of Scott's ones where it's like, the wee box ones, and it's like literally there's only 5 cones there, it's like bang bang overlapping that. He must be struggling there.
We just tell him to warm up.
Then again, like that then there's a good follow-up question to that. Like, how do you actually like deal with that? Because if there's boys in there where it's maybe breaking down, but you can't just have them sitting out, like how's that sort of dealt with?
Well, again, it's kind of knowing your players. Like if it's been a day game, I do shout him, because like it sometimes just needs woken up or snapped out of whatever's going on in his head. But other players, you just need to encourage it, and it's just then it goes to communication, where you're for the first couple you're just saying, right, you're playing here and here, and like just walking them through the drill basically, and then 9 times out of 10 they get it after a couple of rounds, and if no, then I would hope that Scott would just move on.
Move to the next harder one.
Definitely.
How do you, or do you study your opponents, or do you rely on kind of previous experiences with them?
Well, Andy does a lot of video stuff, whereas if we've got any.
Okay.
So like a lot of teams put stuff on YouTube and stuff like that.
So you just watch it.
But we can kind of just watch that. You kind of get a feel for it.
Is that what you do on the last half an hour on a Thursday? I usually see you leave the park quite early then.
So sometimes, mate, we've been doing a wee bit less of it lately, to be fair, but I don't know if there's been a problem with the view or something like that, but we've not had as much footage.
I think there has been a problem with the view.
So we've not had much footage of your game. So like last year we were big on it, when we had David Gibson, who was the assistant manager last year. He was really big on analysis and stuff like that. I quite liked it, to be fair, because it's something I always thought about growing up as well, is that like until I started playing with Blackburn, I'd never really seen myself play. Because Jim McQuillan used to do the highlights years ago, and that was the first time I'd actually really seen myself play football, and I really liked it, because I was like, I thought I had a guy right up me there, but I actually had another 5 yards of space. So the VO was really good for that, because I could watch a full game back, and I could think of every scenario that I was doing at the time, and David was really good, and he was really thorough in terms of opposition and what we were doing. So we definitely. We know every opponent that we're playing, especially being in the league, played against boys for years. Like you kind of know who their key players are and stuff like that. But we know every opponent that we're playing, and we've got tactics for different tactics and different kind of. We know their key men and their weaknesses as well. So.
And Jake, is there sort of like a limit to that as well? Because like obviously that's all good and well at the top level. But see here saying like, in the last game they did this and that. Like so much can change in terms of like, you know, like the manager, the boys, you know, they can show up, you know, if they've been on the piss the night before. So how does that sort of change? You know, is there sort of a limit to how far your analysis can go at this level?
Aye, like you say, you can do everything about this guy, and then he's not playing, or he's working this week, or like, so it can kind of just make everything. So when we played Thornton Hibs the other week, they've got a guy who scored like over 300 goals for them. Like he's their player. He's been their player since I started playing with Blackburn, and we'd kind of obviously spoke about him as a danger man and stuff like that, and he wasn't playing. And then it is get like, so then you're kind of then working out saying, right, so who's replacing him? Who is their player? And saying to them, so like there always is, but I would rather be prepared than kind of just go on a whim. Do you know what I mean? I like the analysis. I like the kind of, the more information the better for me. And if it's not right, then that'll happen at every level of football. Do you know what I mean? They'll plan for a player who gets injured in the warm or something like that. That can happen anywhere. So.
Well, definitely.
And what do you think is the most important mindset skill that you've developed? Your confidence, resilience, calmness, aggression?
Calmness, controlled aggression maybe. But calmness under pressure, I think, something that I've got is that like I don't get too flustered on the pitch. Like even if like you're up against somebody who's really good at that, like I don't let. I mean, obviously I don't try to make mistakes, but if I do make a mistake, I can kind of get it in my head quite quickly and just kind of move on with that and take things for what they are, kind of take the emotion out of it. And I think that it maybe helps sometimes with like refs and stuff like that as a captain, is that I don't go screaming and shouting at them. Like one thing, like my dad, when we're like under 12s, 13s, whatever, when you can first start getting booked, my dad said to me, you can get booked for as many tackles as you want, doesn't matter, but if you ever get booked for shouting at a ref, I'll haul you off the park myself. And I've just kind of grown up, and even if I was to get booked for dissent now, I would still be looking and be like, is he watching? So that's something I've definitely went with. So calmness and kind of controlled aggression, a bit of respect as well for your players that you're playing with as well. So being calm and able to, when the game's absolutely 100 mile an hour, being able to deliver the right instruction to each player and keep their head as well.
That's key to being a captain.
Yeah, definitely. And as captain, like, what do you still want to achieve with this club?
Definitely promotion. Obviously promotion has been the main thing for this season that everyone would have spoken about. I would love a run in the Scottish Cup. It's one thing that we've not really done.
We want our proper run in
I see, like the ones with Brookspurn and that's what you want.
I mean, a big going to like a League 2, League 1 even, like those type of grounds as a Blackburn player would just be, it would really top things off probably for there's always
a chance that you might be playing against that guy in League 1 who is with, you know, well for you maybe Hearts, you know, maybe like for example maybe Kyle Lafferty, he's been Rangers, Hearts, and then he's did to Johnstonborough, you know what I mean, so maybe playing against guys like that.
You kind of get things like that even at our level. Is it players that I've played in the league, like we played against Ian Black when he was at Trinette.
Oh really?
Just up there. So he scored for the halfway line that day. To be fair, he was decent. But you do get kind of outliers like that. But just the experience and kind of putting the club on the map that wee bit more. Kind of you can imagine like a bus with all the young teams coming to the game and stuff like that. Then that like something that we always speak about is like kind of getting the home gates up and stuff like that. Sometimes you kind of need a trigger event to get people coming back.
Aye.
So just something like that could really enhance things.
Aye. And I saw as well you were doing recently giving some advice to, what was it, the 2014? 2014,
aye.
So yeah.
Kerry at 2014's got in touch a couple of times and just kind of asked for a couple of things. It's really good, it's something that I really like doing. And if there's any other age groups that would like me to go down and talk to them or just anything really, I'm really open to do that. And not just me, any of the boys, I can get them to do anything. So if anyone's wanting to kind of, sometimes if you've got a first team player kind of speaking to the younger people, they'll stand up, they'll sit down and listen, and they'll listen to them more than their coaches sometimes. So I'm more than happy to get me or any of the boys to do anything like that, because at the end of the day, like I said, we're at the top of the community club. Like we should be giving back to everyone else, because it's like Blackburn's obviously one of the biggest community clubs in West Lothian, and we should see ourselves as ambassadors really. So
aye, that's a good way of putting it, an ambassador for the club really.
Aye, that's it.
Definitely, it keeps that sort of humble side to you as well, do you know what I mean? I know just the captain on X amount a week and then you show up, kick footballs and go home. You're doing stuff out with, so that's obviously something that's really good, mate. Definitely.
It gives you a bit of importance as well, because you're not just turning up for another club, you're not just putting another tracksuit on and going and play with them. If you're going and talking to people in the community, you've got that extra bit of kind of, like, I don't know what you'd call it, but like extra bit of feeling, rather than just playing with an ex-club like club. So.
No, I'm still the same. Even if I'm about the street and I stick on my Blackburn jacket on, I'm like, no, I'm representing the club here.
I mean, see, doing my 1-to-1s as a wee laddie that played for Whitburn, and he wasn't so happy, and I just said join the dark side. I said every week for like 5 weeks straight, join the dark side. He's only about 10 year old and he's a Blackburn player.
Brilliant.
So like I'm jealous. I love the club as well. Do you know what I mean? Like there's something different about Blackburn. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been involved with a couple of different places, but this is only one where still quite heavily wanting them to winning that, even when I'm not there. That I've been there a couple of times, but even just like watching the Twitter and I'm seeing he's been beat 4-0, and that's the rest of my day gone.
Talk about the games we won, mate. Come on.
Aye. No. It's in the Armadale one.
No, you're right in terms of that. It does feel a bit different for a lot of the clubs in like West. Like obviously compare us to Everton and West Lothian. Like it feels a lot different to the majority of the clubs here. Like I think a lot of teams kind of pay lip service to the community side and kind of say it's a kind of tick box exercise for like the Scottish Cup licence or stuff like that. Whereas Blackburn's it is actually.
We all sort of know each other as well, because there's other clubs they'll be going in, they won't know who anybody is, but once I walk in on Tuesday, Thursday, I know every single coach's name basically. Do you know what I mean? It's mental.
It's a great thing to have. Definitely a great thing to have.
So for any young players trying to break into men's football, what should they prioritise first?
Listen to your coaches, obviously.
Can you tell that to my team? Can we book you to come in? And
I'll try, mate. They're not listening to me either. They're too old to listen to me now. And again, I'll say is just show up. Just be coachable is the main thing. There'll be a lot of different steps up, and if you're not coachable and if you think you've made it, then that's where you'll stop.
As soon as your ego takes over.
You know, like I say, like I'm 32, played nearly 300 games for Blackburn, but I take every game as if I don't play well, I'm going to get dropped. I don't see myself as above anything, so I think that's the thing, is that don't think that you're too big for your boots, really.
And if a young player wants to be captain in the future, what should they start doing now to prepare for that?
Talking nice to Andy Meakin, I think. It's just be an example to everyone else. It doesn't mean you need to be the loudest player. You doesn't need to be the most opinionated. You just need to be the example and the person that your coaches and your other players will look to, and if you speak, they'll listen.
Yeah,
that's probably my thing.
Definitely, man.
So, would you wish more players kind of understood about the football game as it is just now?
I wish they thought more about when they've not got the ball. I think a lot of people are just really talented on the ball and stuff like that, and it's maybe a kind of cultural thing in terms of like maybe people didn't watch as many football games as they used to anymore. Like there's so much going on, they maybe didn't watch. I used to watch 90 minutes after 90 minutes. Like maybe that doesn't happen as much now, so they didn't understand actually playing the game and their position and stuff like that.
It's cool. Well, I mean, for me growing up, I always loved watching Italia 90 and stuff like that. Watching the Italian football on Channel 4, that was a kind of religious delight. I always liked watching that, but it doesn't seem to be a thing these days. It's either people are watching it on the Sky or whatever and betting and whatnot, but it doesn't seem to be a cultural thing.
I think it's just understanding not just your position but everyone else's position in the park. I think some people want to just be good with the ball and show their ability, but it's only a small part of the game, really. And I think sometimes you can see that as they can kill you in a game if they're just good in the ball, but when you're defending, they're 30 yards away from they're meant to be. That's what can really kill you in a game.
Definitely. Well, we'll jump into a wee quick fire round, ask a couple of wee different questions, spice it up a wee bit. So start VAR, would you bin it or you keep it? Keep it, mate.
Absolutely keep it.
Yeah.
I don't care if it takes 5 minutes to make the right decision, it's the right decision. So
okay.
I'm in the minority with that, like that.
Scotland win the World Cup or Hearts win the Champions League?
Hearts win the Champions League, everything. Aye, Hearts all day.
It's the hardest pitch or like away ground you've played in.
Hardest in terms of what?
Probably just like see when you go there and you're like we're in for it today. Do you know what I mean? Like see if a team was going to Livingston, it's like it's a plastic pitch. Like you're just going for a right battle. Do you know what I mean?
Anywhere in Fife is a battle. Aye, that's as soon as you cross that bridge, they've got something different in their fertiliser or something. It's different.
Unbelievable.
Favourite goal you've ever been involved in?
I didn't score that many.
That's why it says involved.
Not scored. For the other team.
Right in the joint, man.
I know.
Favourite goal's probably a difficult one.
Just lift it up a bit. Just lift it up onto the... That's it.
Alright.
I'll cut that.
It's not going very quick fire.
Favourite... Aye.
Worst training drill?
I don't know if I can say because that will definitely get me dropped to my sarge. A few come to mind, but I'll not
like
say.
2040s and all that.
Aye, there's a few.
Favourite training drill?
Just the games at the end, probably.
What's a rule that you'd bring into football to improve it?
A really easy one for time wasting, right? So goalies can only take a goal kick for the side that goes out, the same as corners. So a goalie can walk for here and go all the way to the other side of his goals, but at a corner you can't. It does my head in every single game.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Pre-match music? Yes, no?
I didn't mind it. Beansy's your DJ, but he kind of does what he wants, but he goes out to warm up before like Andy does his team talk and that, which is something else that I would remove from football. So we all need to like change his tunes and that when he goes out.
Dearie me. You get a last minute penalty, who would you trust with your life to take it?
For like a Blackburn player?
Aye.
Mikey Brown was our penalty taker when we got loads and loads of penalties and he very rarely missed. I knew he was going every penalty, but he very rarely missed.
Fair enough. Post-match meal?
Calzone at the Nice and Spicy in Faltus.
I've tried day ones.
That's
That was
the best,
very good. What's the funniest moment you've had in a Blackburn dressing room? Keeping it PG.
I don't know if I can keep it PG. There's honestly like there's something bizarre happens in that changing room every single time I'm in it. I don't know how to narrow it down. I actually don't.
Fair enough. Okay, and finally, one message to the fans in the local community.
Keep supporting us in the way to promotion and hopefully you'll be watching us in the Premier League next year.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's been good to have you on the podcast, James. So we'll definitely try and get you back on. At the end of the season, see, how the rest of the season's played out. But no, very insightful there into the mind of a captain.
Yes, very, very much so. I enjoyed that a lot, and I'll maybe chat to you after, see if we can find some more guests for the podcast.
The reason that Beansy and Brashy were on at the start of the season is because I got asked and I just texted them saying you need to go on and find it. So I asked me to get anyone on, that's fine.
Right, we'll that one. Fair enough. Thanks again, mate. Thanks so much.
No problem at all.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you all in 2 weeks' time. Till then, bye.